A staff member walks over to Se-gae's desk and hands him a script along with several documents that require his approval. As Se-gae glances at the title, he realizes that it is the drama starring Seo-ri. Jae-han explains that the marketing team has asked them to review a potential product placement opportunity. However, believing that dramas no longer have much advertising impact these days, he suggests passing on the offer and moving on. As Se-gae opens the script, a particular scene immediately catches his attention. In his imagination, Seo-ri and the king are alone inside a royal bedroom. The king gently calls Seo-ri over, while she shyly responds and asks why he seems to be in such a hurry. Amused by her embarrassment, the king teases her and tells her to come closer. Seo-ri then points toward a candle and asks him to put out the light first. Just as the king reaches for the candle, he suddenly changes his mind. Instead, he says that he will not extinguish the candle because he wants to see every detail of Seo-ri in the bright light. Seo-ri can only call out to him as the intimate atmosphere between them continues to grow. The scene instantly infuriates Se-gae. Furious, he slams his hand on the desk and throws the script away. Startled by the sudden outburst, Jae-han quickly apologizes and awkwardly explains that he was feeling sleepy and only took a small sip of something. Se-gae's irritation only grows stronger. Trying to calm the situation, Jae-han apologizes again and offers to bring him some coffee. However, Se-gae immediately calls for Jae-han and orders him to contact the advertising representative at once, deciding to move forward with the deal. The patient, who appears to be the nurse that had once poisoned Se-gae, is placed under police protection, but she suddenly goes missing while still receiving treatment. Yet surprisingly, it is Moon-do who seems to panic the most. Disturbed by the unexpected turn of events, he questions how a patient can simply disappear, leaving us to wonder whether this is part of Se-gae's plan all along. Perhaps Se-gae anticipates the possibility that Moon-do may try to harm the nurse again, making it necessary to keep her from any outside contact. Moon-do's unsettled gaze hints at something deeper as a crowd gathers around a screen, murmuring among themselves. The scene leaves us wondering whether this is Se-gae's carefully orchestrated counterattack against him. Considering Jung-ae's shock some time ago when she noticed the scattered grains of rice, a moment that made her question whether Seo-ri truly carried a cursed bond connected to a sworn nemesis. A conflicting fate that should never cross paths again, it becomes increasingly clear that Moon-do is an inescapable part of her destiny. Thus, as Moon-do secretly watched Seo-ri's grandmother and threatened to expose the photograph of Seo-ri and Se-gae leaving the hotel together, we cannot help but wonder if he truly intends to carry out this threat as an act of resistance against Se-gae and Seo-ri. It also raises questions about Seo-ri's future career should reporters discover that she has been hiding the truth about her secret boyfriend, who is none other than Se-gae himself. At one point, Seo-ri receives news about a change in her acting scene, which makes her curious about what it changes into. It turns out to be the sericulture rite scene. Then a royal wedding scene is shown, but this time something is different. Seo-ri appears as the royal bride, after previously playing a palace maid. This role shift sparks our curiosity about Ji-hyo's reactions, who never likes seeing Seo-ri slowly rise higher. This shift in roles makes Seo-ri deeply grateful to Se-gae, so she completely steals the scene. Never ceasing to spark spontaneous bursts of romantic tension, Se-gae, who is also on set, further intensifies the atmosphere when he forcibly takes candy from Seo-ri's hand while teasing her, calling it sickeningly sweet. At a certain point that cuts deeply into the heart, Seo-ri reaches a moment where she sees a painting that is partially torn. The image feels strangely familiar, bearing a face that resembles her own. It was a painting created by the Grand Prince, and as Seo-ri looks at it in the museum, it awakens sorrowful memories from that distant era. Meanwhile, Se-gae continues to search more deeply for the woman who keeps appearing in his dreams. This leads him to suspect that the man seems to carry a deep longing for a woman named Kang Dan-sim. Because of this uncertainty, he shares his restless thoughts with Seo-ri. A quarrel between the lovers becomes unavoidable when Seo-ri asks what if it is not just a dream. In her growing anxiety and confusion, Seo-ri eventually reveals her true identity to Se-gae, who is left bewildered by the woman from his dreams. She asks him what if she is that very woman Kang Dan-sim, what would Se-gae do? An unresolved mystery continues to stir curiosity. How a woman like Kang Dan-sim, who was once merely a court maid, could later become a royal concubine. Likewise, Seo Ri's indifferent and fearless attitude toward Taehee's words and threats raises another question. Whether Taehee will become even more brazen and reckless and eventually do anything to win Sae-gae for herself.